Hey, good afternoon. It's Eric Osnes here with Homebridge Financial Home Mortgage with my weekly update on mortgage rates for the week ending December 17th, 2021. Well, the tapered tantrum is temporarily tempered. The big news on interest rates this week was the Fed's FOMC meeting, their Federal Open Market Committee meeting ended on Wednesday. And as expected, Chairman Jerome Powell announced the acceleration of their tapering of the purchase of treasuries and mortgage-backed securities from 15 billion a month up to 30 billion a month that they're cutting back. They also indicated there could be up to 3 rate hikes next year. This means the Fed tapering will most likely end in March, which coincidentally happens to be when the next Federal Open Market Committee meeting is. It's unlikely they'll hike rates in March, though. Most likely that will happen in May. And just so we're clear about that, when the Fed hikes rates, they're not hiking mortgage rates. The Fed can't do that. The markets control mortgage rates. The Fed hikes what's called the federal funds rate. It's basically a rate that banks are charged to borrow money overnight from the Fed as they settle their accounts. You know, every bank, every day, they never know how much money is coming in the door and out the door. And they have an account with the Fed, their own checking account. Sometimes that checking account goes overdraft and they'll borrow money to settle their accounts. So the Fed funds rate affects directly loans like home equity line of credit, business loans. It can affect credit cards and auto loan rates, things like that, and ultimately can trickle into mortgage, but generally not. How did the bond market react to all this news? Well, it seems a little bit counterintuitive, but bonds rallied, putting downward pressure on 30-year mortgage rates. Why? Because the biggest fear of the bond market is inflation. And the Fed tapering and talk of a rate hike is good medicine to slow down that risk of inflation. For the week, mortgage rates ended lower and are still very much historically excellent. So here's the national average for mortgage rates for the end of this week. Conventional 30-year fixed rates, 3.16%, down from 3.21% last week, a nice drop. 15-year fixed rates, 2.52%, down from 2.55 last week. FHA and VA 30-year fixed rates, 2.75%, down from 2.91% last week. And jumbo 30-year fixed rates down to 3.07 compared to 3.12% last week. In other news and topics, freezing is free. So do it now. Freeze. I'm talking about identity theft and credit freezes on your credit reports. Identity theft and fraud are absolutely a growth industry these days, and you all need to take steps to protect your credit and your identity. And to do that is free. All 3 credit bureaus by law will allow you to place a temporary freeze on your credit without cost. You don't have to sign up for a monthly service or anything like that, even though even the credit bureaus will start to market those things. It is possible to do it for free. So you can go to send me an email or something and I'll send you the links, but you can also Google um, all 3 credit bureaus. So Equifax, just Google freeze my Equifax or freeze my Experian or freeze my TransUnion. And all of those will take you to a link to do that. Once you have your freeze set up, you're protected. And if some point a lender needs to pull your credit, you can very quickly unfreeze by just logging in and placing a temporary lift on that freeze. You can set the dates that it starts, you can set the dates that it ends, so you don't have to remember to log back in and refreeze or whatever. Just I want to unfreeze it for a couple days and then you're pretty much covered. It'll automatically refreeze at the end of that period. Just don't forget your passwords. If you do forget your passwords, of course, you can do the forgot my password. But if you have too many failed attempts, then the only way then to restore your password is to do it by snail mail. And if you've got a lender like me waiting for you to unfreeze your credit so we can pull it, and you've got to wait for something to show up in the mail, that can cause you some delays. So just be sure to remember your passwords, keep them someplace safe. So another really great free tool is available that allows you to opt out of credit solicitations, those things that fill up your mailbox and are also open invitations to fraud. It's called Opt Out Pre-Screen. So you can get to that one, www.optoutprescreen.com. Once you set that up, you'll watch the volume of junk mail drop drastically from your mailbox. I hope this information is helpful. I'm here to discuss this or any other issues. You can also listen to our weekly radio show on AM 1590, Saturdays at 2, Sundays at 3. Always on podcast. Just search for Open House with Team Reba, or check out my Facebook page or YouTube. Eric is my banker. Hope you all have a great week and you're enjoying your Christmas holidays, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.